Hi, I'm Tabitha and I've been beekeeping for 3 years, and today I'm going to give you a talk on the parts of the hive and some of the basic tools that go along with it. So today we're going to go through these 7 parts. So we're going to go through the cover, the inner cover, the honey supers, the queen excluder, the brood boxes, the entrance, and the base. Let's begin. So number 1 is the cover. There's 2 types of cover. There's one made out of metal and wood, and then there's this plastic one. I seem to like the plastic one better. It also comes off the hive easier. Number 2 is going to be our inner cover. This is a board that can be placed anywhere throughout the hive that just gives separation and division between boxes when you want it. So now we're going to get down into the supers. The supers are these 2 boxes. The supers are made for honey only, and they each carry 10 frames. And a frame is just where the wax and the honey will go, where the bees will fill up. So as you can see, there is 10 of these in each super. And the supers are also shallower boxes compared to the brood boxes. And so these boxes are shallower because when they are filled with honey, they're heavier, and it's easier to work with them when they're lighter. And also, not all the boxes have 10 frames. Some have 9, but it depends on how much space you want to give your bees to work with. Right after the supers comes the queen excluder. This is a metal piece with holes in it, and these holes are specially designed for that the queen can't get through. Because of the queen's abdomen, she's just a little too big to go through, so only the worker bees can fit through this screen. So it separates the top 2 honey supers to make sure that only honey can get up there and no eggs are laid in there. And now you get down to the brood boxes. The brood boxes are the heart of the hive where the queen lives and lays all her eggs. The brood boxes are big, deep boxes because they are designed not to come off the hive and only to be filled with the queen stuff. They have really big frames. These frames also, we need to make sure that when you have frames, you wax every single frame so that the bees get a head start on them. And since the brood boxes are the heart of the hive, the queen will have most of her eggs laid down here, and there'll also be a lot of bee bread for the baby bees, which is just their baby bee food. And there'll only be a little bit of honey in the corner of the frames, but not much honey, and the worker bees will go up top to get honey to feed the queen. Now below the brood boxes, you have what is called your entrance, and this is just this metal piece that covers the front. And on my entrance, I have what's called a guard screen, and I also have a mouse guard screen, and I have 2 holes. So the first holes are right here that they can enter the hive, and it can be controlled by using this. And I have a all the way shut off and a partial shut off. And I also have a second hole all the way on top over here. And this second hole is designed to trick the bees in a way of thinking that when other bees come to the hive, they think they can't come in. And we also have different settings on this one so that we can determine the flow of the hive. So if the hive is weak, we can determine how many bees we want coming out at a time and how many bees that we want, how many bees that we're going to leave there to protect there, because with a smaller hole, smaller bees can get in and out. And below the entrance, we just have my base stand. People use many different ways of basing it. Some are concrete bricks, some are wood pallets. It's just so that the hive is off the ground and it's not getting soaked or anything. And I just like these metal ones. And also with the bases, I also use this metal one because it's harder for both ants and mice and stuff to climb up and get into the hive. So I like to keep mine at least a good 4 inches off the ground. And depending on what you give them, like if you give them pallets, it's easier for some of those things to get up in there. So now I'm just going to show you some of the tools I will use when working with my hive and the tools that you must have to be working with a hive. So tool number 1 is what's called our hive tool. This is just a metal tool used to break apart frames, because bees are really good at building wax on everything, and it's really hard to get into boxes and hives. So you just use it to pry up boxes and stuff like that. And then you can also use it to pry up frames with some of the different attachments, and there are also just different ways of getting on things. And also it has a flat end for scraping off wax. When bees put excess wax that you do not want, you can just scrape it off with the hive tool. And then next up is our smoker. Our smoker is designed to get the bees to move away from the area we don't want. So to use the smoker, I would light a small fire with a couple pieces of charcoal, and I'll put a smoke bomb on top to make it smoke. And then I would you lightly puff the bees a little bit to make them go away. Bees do not smoke, and when they sense the smoke, they sense it as something that they don't want to be by, and they will all run down into the bottom of the boxes. And last of all, I have what is called the bee brush. This is a very fine, light brush used for removing bees. Now, it's very important that your brush is very fine and delicate and light, because you don't want to damage the bees' wings or anything. So this brush is designed not to hurt any of the bees when you're moving them from things. But this brush is very helpful because when the frames are full of bees and you're trying to remove them, you need something to just get rid of the bees, but not to hurt them. So now I'm just going to put the beehive back together so you can see it all together, and we'll just do a review of the parts. So we're just going to start from the top. So again, we have the cover for protection, and underneath we have the inner cover for separation, and then we have the 2 supers for honey use only, the queen excluder to stop the queen from going up into your upper boxes, the brood boxes, the heart of the hive, used for the queen only, your entrance to control the flow of the hive and also to protect it, and your base to get it off the ground and protect it from rodents and ants. So now this concludes my talk on the parts of the beehive and the tools with it. If you're interested in beekeeping, I really hope that you keep going forward and keep learning, and I hope this helped you. Thank you.